depth of AIW's tag team division. You're the main event. You come in, you get 2 Infinity Beyond. Now you got to deal with speed and power in 40 Acres in the next night. This tag division is deep that way.
Indeed, 40 Acres, of course, in that four-way last night, had a shot to become AIW Tag Team Champions. Billy Marino Experience retained in that matchup. And it is definitely a very unique difference to go from wrestling Colin and Cheech having a distinct size and strength advantage that the main event had, and to start this one off, that can't be said tonight.
No, absolutely not. And that's what being a part of a show like this, where you don't know what you got coming in. You could be anyone out there. And Gannon Jones Jr., PB Smooth starting it off. And like you said, Gannon's not used to being one of the smaller guys in a match.
And of course, we saw the power on display last night. We saw that flea flicker finish. But I can't imagine them hitting that and a guy like Pretty Boy Smooth.
I wouldn't put anything past the main event, though. They are, this may be only the second time people in AIW are seeing them, but these guys are a polished, well-traveled tag team. Gannon Jones Jr. is a great quarterback for this team. Duke Davis, like an all-star wide receiver. I say it's like if Aaron Rodgers and Randy Moss got together. That's what this team is. They are pure athletes.
Well, right now, Pretty Boy Smooth, the headlock takeover, and it is unique. Very similar style between Pretty Boy Smooth and the main event. You talk about the size and strength of the main event, but you cannot discount the athleticism. And the same is true of Pretty Boy Smooth.
Oh, absolutely.
I've talked about many times in the past. Former Division I collegiate basketball player. Also played at the Division II level. And listen, there are not many people in basketball that get to play at any level of collegiate basketball. It is less than 10% of basketball players get to play in college. So for him to do the level he did shows that athleticism. But that nip up by Gannon Jones, you see a guy that size nip up like that.
Oh, yeah, he has a sneaky amount of speed and strength. You talk about PB and his athleticism. Gannon Jones Jr. is not afraid to fly out there either. And so I think really this is going to come down to this right here, which is this tag into Trey Lamar. That is the gear shift in this match. Trey Lamar is speed, he's ability, he's agility, but man, I don't know if anyone makes wrestling look easier than a guy like Trey Lamar.
Well, the unique thing, it's one thing to be fast, it's one thing to be athletic, and we've said everybody in this matchup is athletic. Trey Lamar, what he does that I don't think anyone else in this matchup brings is the creativity, the on-the-fly creativity as we see there rolling through, and the way he will change angles. You're used to somebody coming straight at you. You're used to somebody attacking you in front of you. He's going to change angles. He's going to change directions, and he can do it in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's almost when you watch Trey Lamar, he's like he's not wrestling in a four-sided ring. It's almost like he's got 6 sides to maneuver from.
But even with that athleticism, he couldn't get high enough to clear Duke Davis on that leapfrog, but he manages to sneak out the back door. That time he clears him. Duke perhaps was looking for a shoulder tackle as he dropped down. He tried to change levels, and it led to get drop kicked in the side of the head, and that's what I mean. You're so disoriented. He slingshots you off the rope. You're trying to regain your bearings, get back your knees, think you're okay, and as soon as you hit that base, you're getting kicked in the head.
Yeah, and we talked about that gear change that Trey Lamar brings, and that's why 40 Acres as a tag team has been so dominant, and I think it's a very much a future tag team championship contending team, and will be a championship team, in that you change gears with Trey Lamar, tag into PB Smith, change gears again.
And the distance on that crossbody 1-2, and that's exactly what you're talking about. Duke Davis was so focused on Trey Lamar coming in. He thought he got the best of him. He thought he had it countered when he backdropped Trey over, but PB was right behind him with incredible force coming all the way across
and
the
then
ring.
Once you hit that forearm, you're so disoriented, you don't see Trey Lamar coming off with that crossbody. And if you're Duke Davis, and look, if you're me and I think I'm 3/4 across the ring, I think I'm safe from Trey Lamar, and apparently not. But Duke Davis is a fighter, don't get me wrong. This is a guy who played football at Robert Morris University. He's an athlete. He is, and he's trimmed down. He has gotten faster as well. And he looks great right now, in the best shape of his life.
He is absolutely jacked, and we are no strangers here in AIW to Duke Davis. As much as we talk about main event making their debut, making an impression, he did actually take part in the new talent
that's
initiative.
A field goal. That's a
year.
Pat McAfee right there.
1-2, only a 2 count. So we got to see a first-hand account of Duke Davis and just how impressive he can be. And unfortunately, well, the world shut down on us before we got to put them in the ring. So now that we're back, the main event has their opportunity, and you'd think they would be vaulting. We thought it was huge to beat To Infinity and Beyond last night. To back that up with a win over 40 Acres tonight, and they are in prime placement for a shot at the AEW Tag Team title.
I got to say, and I don't make decisions here. I'm just here having a good time. But look, if main event comes in and they beat To Infinity Beyond, and then they beat 40 Acres, I got to think that a tag team title shot is right around the corner. You can't come in and dominate two teams like that and not be seen as a top team. But look at the smart strategy here by main event. They went and tried to cut down PB Smooth. Now, normally you would think two big guys, strategy come in, let's take out Trey Lamar, let's take out the smaller guy. But they're going to try and chop down the big guy here.
Well, and if they can slow him down and they can take him down, cut him down to size, you're going to see Trey having to do it on his own. And as good as Trey is, as fast as he is, Trey Lamar, in what is essentially at that point a handicap match against the size, strength, and athleticism of the main event, is a mismatch in any ring across the country.
Absolutely. They are just too big and too strong, but they are athletic too. We talk about it. These guys have been all over the country, from Florida to New York City. They have won championships. They have been everywhere. They are a dominant breed, and they live and breathe this tag team. That's the difference. And you look at PB Smooth, you look at Trey Lamar, they have great chemistry. They've been tagging a long time, but they also do singles matches. Duke Davis and Gannon Jones Jr., they are a tag team. They do nothing else.
But PB just straightened it out. They tried to suplex each other. Neither man could get the advantage over the other, but it's a huge advantage to land a lariat like that.
PB's got to make a tag to Trey Lamar here. Got to get his bearings back.
And he
rest up that leg.
Now he hit that lariat. He was perfectly placed to make that tag, and Trey is in over the top. We talked about changing heels. We talked about using that speed. He sent through the ropes, and look at that. And that's what I mean on changing direction, on the fact that quick as can be, split-second movement by Trey Lamar. Trey up and over. Now looking for that German suplex. No, instead he's going to roll through. Pele kick is on point.
I have seen a lot of wrestlers in the last couple weeks, but Trey Lamar.
Tope con hilo, and he cleared that top rope by about 5 feet.
I have not seen Trey Lamar this confident, and when Trey Lamar is this confident, he's going to take every shot in the book that he has, and he's going to be hard to beat if Trey Lamar is this confident.
Now Trey looking for the kick. Duke underneath. Duke looking for the right hand. Trey's ready for it. Now Trey, head of steam, heading in, but he is caught by the main event double flapjack.
That's what I talk about. These guys know tag team wrestling. They are a tag team through and through. Cover!
Duke had him stacked up, and that's a whole lot of size and strength over the shoulders, over your entire body. Trey Lamar may be the freshest man in this matchup, but that just evened the table a whole lot, having to kick out of that cover.
Yeah, that flapjack and that cover. Now you look at PB Smooth on the outside. We're talking again, the strategy of taking out the big man. Now they kind of lean on Trey Lamar.
Well, and it took a whole lot for PB to even get back onto that ring apron. So if Trey's forced to tag him back in this quickly, he's not 100%. He's not recovered from that assault that he had earlier on his leg.
Yeah, Gannon Jones, you saw him on the apron there calling out the plays. As I said, he is the quarterback of this team. He is always thinking 3-4 moves ahead.
Throwing Trey down, covers. And a different element on that attack on the knees on PB. Obviously, you see a guy that size, you're going to want to attack the knees. But there's a next level scouting report, I think, going on for the main event. One of the things that ended PB's basketball career, one of the things that kept him from going overseas to play professional basketball, like many of his contemporaries, is his knees were questionable. Doctors said they would not hold up to that kind of assault. Now, he's done a ton of work, don't get me wrong. He does a lot in the weight room to counteract that. But it's still, you have a guy who at any point in his life and any point in his athletic career has had question about his knees' durability.
And we've seen that before with guys like Greg Odom or large athletes that, those knees, those joints can go. And, look, PB Smooth is a guy that isn't shy to talk about his career, not shy about talking about his. You see newspaper articles all about him. But look at this. This is one of my favorite moves. Look at that pass off.
Oh, the handoff between the two, and Duke is just walking around the ring, doing squats, that blood rushing to the head. And Trey Lamar's game, we talked about the change, we talked about the athleticism.
Trey's trying to fight him, he fought out of it.
He got down, but how much does he have left? How much of that blood rushing in the head is thrown off his equilibrium?
And Trey tried to make a tag, but
Up and over, he lands on his feet. Backcracker on Duke Davis.
now PB's getting that adrenaline going. The knee's starting to hurt a little less.
Shaking it out, he is ready to go. Trey Lamar, I'm telling you, that stalling suplex, even though they didn't get the suplex off, he was staring off into the wrong corner entirely while he was trying to get his bearings.
Big tag to PB Smooth.
There's the tag to bring him in. Duke didn't even make it over to Gannon, but Gannon's going to come in anyways, but he is caught by the throat. And that leg sweep, choke slam style that we've seen him hit, savant kick to the back of the head.
Gannon didn't know that Trey Lamar was still in the ring. I don't think he knew that at all. We talked about main event trying to make a name for themselves by beating two of these teams in a row. If you're 40 Acres, you can't let main event come in into your house and do to you what they did to Infinity and beyond. This is all about pride for PB Smooth and Trey Lamar.
We talked about that size, huge. He swung that lariat for the fences, catches Duke coming off. Oh! And Pretty Boy Smooth with the throat slinger, he calls it.
I did not think Duke Davis was kicking out of that. That was all of PB's weight.
Drop down across.
Gotta say, PB's feeling that leg out there.
He's shaking it out. You see him trying to get behind it, stomping it down, getting the blood flowing through it again, but it gives Duke Davis time to recover in the corner. Back elbow. This time it's a boot.
Look out!
Incredible! We talked about the elevation. We talked about the athleticism. Ooh! The height on that drop kick from Duke Davis.
Look out!
Now, reverse neck breaker down across the top rope.
PB is struggling. Duke Davis got to get him here.
Covers, hooks both legs, and Duke still can't get the 3 count.
Look at that kick out, and then PB's transition.
PB transition
right around.
Looking for the total bondage.
Oh, he's got it hooked.
Looks like he's got it cinched in. Gannon is in the ring. He's standing, but Trey. Wait, Trey
roll through.
Waist lock rolling through. And Trey looking for that elevated high angle Boston Crab.
Oh,
both men are cinched up.
They're in the center. Duke Davis has nowhere to go.
He is tied up, refusing to quit. Gannon gets to the ropes, and he kicks Trey off, and he kicks him right through PB.
Gannon Jones Jr. knew that he wasn't legal. It didn't matter if he got to the ropes. He was able to turn his body and then use Trey Lamar to break up that hold. Duke Davis was done. Duke Davis was going nowhere.
Indeed, a 2-for-1 there out of Gannon Jones. He manages to grab the ropes, as you said, not legal men, so it didn't really matter, but he was able to use them to create leverage and to create a drive to send Trey Lamar into PB Smooth. You hear this crowd is split right now.
I am too. They said these teams want it pretty bad. You talk about the depth of the tag division.
Duke got PB up like nothing.
Oh, look
that
out.
Sidewalk slam. Main event just driving. Pretty Boy Smooth down, covers, hooks the leg. 2. No! PB kicks out. You know, we've talked about it so many times lately. PB Smooth, former AW Tag Team Champion, former AW Absolute Champion. But I don't think we've ever seen a better Pretty Boy Smooth than we see right now.
Absolutely not. And I think, like we talked about that confidence that Trey Lamar has, I think PB has it too. And if these two, PB and Trey Lamar, have that confidence, I don't think anyone can.
Wait a second.
Oh! He just jerked him right into a Saito.
I thought he was setting up for that flea flicker on Trey Lamar. I think he lost his balance a little bit and just snapped off the suplex instead.
He snapped Trey Lamar right into that Saito, which was beautiful. And now he's going to, I think, going for that flea flicker.
No, he's just
throwing
him right in. There is flea flicker attempt. Trey
PB
Lamar
broke it up.
Trey Lamar coming down on his feet instead. The kick, sending Duke out, Pele kick. Gannon to the ropes, but he's still in the ring. Trey hitting the ropes, suicide dive, taking out Duke Davis. Meanwhile, Pretty Boy Smooth.
He's got Gannon way up. Look at
it! Spikes him. Feet over the shoulders. 2, 3. And 40 Acres coming away with a big win. But the main event may not have won it tonight. But you heard that crowd reaction. They definitely still are in the hunt here in AIW.
PB Smooth and Trey Lamar, though.